were the chosen one! It was said that you would destroy the Sith, not join them! Bring balance to the Force, not leave it in darkness!
So the Warrior community was clearly very happy about the 1.17.2 changes initially when they first happened. The Warrior channel on the official TurtleWoW Discord was pretty upset after initial launch, and thankfully I think majority of the community has shifted from anger and being upset about a lot of the changes to theory crafting most viable builds, talking about new best in slot items. A lot of the initial feelings have started to shift for Warriors on the Warrior Discord, and after playtesting, I like a lot of the changes myself. As far as things that are super negative, a lot of them have changed already, and I expect even more to be improved, and our performance is still really high. But I just want to take a minute, because I think it's really important when changes happen to take the customer service approach, right? You don't want to tell the customer they're wrong, and I think it's really important to listen to what people are saying. Okay, understanding their concerns and bridging the gap between frustration and people feeling like they're being heard is really critical in times of important change. I think it's really healthy for the community. So before people just say, I think Warriors deserve a nerf, etc., I think it's really important that we just take a minute, relax, and hear what the Warrior community is saying. But first, I'd like to take a minute to point out some of the funniest contributions, like this one from Drunken Robot in the Warrior Discord. His contribution was this Warrior Bingo, which pretty hilarious summary of what the community is going through right now in the Warrior channel. Then, of course, another personal favorite is the copy pasta that's going around everywhere. If you've seen this, you know what I'm talking about. So what are Warriors in this community actually upset about? Well, one, I think change is always anxiety-inducing for a lot of people. You know, they're not sure where they're going to end up. They're not sure if their Warrior is still going to be viable, and I think that's the key component is Warriors are concerned that their Fury builds are not going to work anymore, or that they are going to lose all their level 60 progress on their Warrior, or it won't play the same as they remember it playing. A lot of people have identities or character identities that they really cling to, that they really enjoy, that they're afraid that they lost. And kind of to summarize why I think they were starting to feel that way is during the initial playtesting, a lot of players were essentially killing themselves on just target dummies using Bloodthirst or Blood Rage. And, you know, Bloodthirst was originally dealing 50% damage to themselves, which was a really, really high number, and players were concerned, can I even level with Fury? Can I use it to level anymore? So that was why they were, I think, initially getting upset. And as we know, the hotfix was implemented, so that 50% damage was reduced down to 30%, which seems to be playing a lot better, which is great. And some of the community were also concerned about these Fury changes because they did Fury and Protection with more emphasis on Fury to have a better damage tanking build. And they were kind of worried that that build was destroyed, much like how the Holy Shock Paladins were worried that, hey, my Shockadin is completely dead now, what do I do? You know, so that's kind of the same sentiment that these players were having. Many of the players who rolled Fury, they rolled Fury to be a Raid DPS. So they were really concerned that their output would have been totally mitigated to the point that their build would be essentially just unviable to play. But it looks like, after looking at some of the player data, Fury still is very viable, as you can see. So this is Mince's raid damage chart. So the PvE damage is still looking incredibly viable after patch. It just looks like maybe there's going to be a learning curve. A lot of the other frustrations, I think, for the Fury player base came in like Paladins got like 18 different buffs. How come Warriors now deal damage to themselves when they're doing their raid rotations? What's up with that? Why would you nerf us that hard? And then they were also worried about some of the PvP nerfs. I do see some positive things being reported in the PvP community as well. You can take a look. This is specifically Arca Monday is showing some of his PvP highlights that I'm showing here. As you can see, he's hitting 9K on his executes.
That's a lot of damage!
You can look at his Discord video too. Footage that I've seen so far looks really promising. It looks really good in the highlights. We'll have to kind of feel it out over time to really understand if we're in a really terrible spot in PvP. It kind of feels like that for a lot of players. But yeah, so I think that is the majority of what the community is feeling like. I think these kind of summarize why people are feeling upset. It's not so much are they performing really well or really bad. It's more along the lines of, hey, I think my character identity's been destroyed. I'm kind of upset about that. I think is more of the contention point than anything else. But I do want to take a minute to talk about some of the positive changes. I do notice in playtesting myself on my own warrior that rage starvation is almost completely eliminated, and even while creating a lower level warrior, it looks like anger management, the previous talent that we have now all been granted as a passive, has helped rage starvation greatly even at lower levels. So we're not suffering so much, and it feels a lot better to use two-handers as well. I mean, Sunder Armor even is a really good change. The rage reduction to cost 10 rage instead of 15 really helps with threat mitigation. I'm sorry, not mitigation. It helps with threat maintaining. So I think Warriors is still in an incredible place, guys. I think it's important to keep playtesting and giving feedback to the developers. And whenever people try to shut you down for giving feedback, I think people are shutting Warriors down mainly because they perceive it as like a negative. But it's not that we want to detract from other classes, right? We just want every class and every playstyle to feel good, to feel its best and its peak. And I think Fury was in a really good place ahead of time. So to receive changes after the fact, I think that's why the community is feeling so distraught. But I'm very positive for the future. I know they've already hotfixed several changes. I can really anticipate several more hotfixes coming in the future. It sounds like the devs are really listening and responding already. So stay positive, guys. I think we'll get through this together. And I think overall it's good to reflect on the fact that we're getting any kind of updates at all. A lot of classic communities, there's kind of this stagnant, no update, no love, no changes, no upgrades thing going on. I mean, I think things will be curved over to become better over time. I think our playstyles will start to feel better as we give feedback to the developers. And overall, I think we have a lot to look forward to just in this community. So stay positive, guys. And as always, I really appreciate you guys being here. I'm looking forward to hearing maybe some things I haven't talked about. So if you have any ideas or maybe some gripes that you think need to be mentioned, feel free to share it in the comments, guys. Let's make a discussion about it, because at the end of the day, we'll make the community better together. So thank you guys for being here. Thank you for watching this video. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next video.